Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome back with another episode of Brewing with Grace. This is your girl, Lady J. Just wanted to come and just to encourage you a little bit. The topic that I had picked for us to talk about today is entitled When Bold Feels Too Loud. And the one that I used out of the Bible was Deborah. Now I have my notes here if it's letting us know who Deborah was. I'm finna read to you who Deborah was. So Deborah was a remarkable and powerful woman in the Bible, known for her leadership, wisdom, and courage. Her story is found in Judges 4 and 5, and I read those chapters. So Deborah was the only female judge mentioned in the Bible, and at that time when Israel had no king and was frequently led astray, she governed the people with wisdom and fairness. She held court under the palm tree where people came to her for guidance and judgment. So, have you ever felt like your voice was too much? Like maybe too loud? People thinking that maybe you a know-it-all or they labeling you. So, I just want you to tell you that you are not alone and you're not wrong for using your voice. God gave us a voice for a reason. Our voice can be our purpose. Sometimes us being silent, we may feel like that's the best place to be, but it's not good to be silent. God gave us the voice to use it, and we are to use it. So, I ordered my notes. Boldness isn't rebellion; it's restoration. And there's a woman in the Bible, like I had said earlier, who did that, and that was Deborah. So, Deborah did not speak her own opinion. She spoke what God commanded. That's what makes you boldness powerful. It's not rooted in pride, it's rooted in purpose. Deborah was bold, not just for herself, but for an entire nation. She didn't shrink, she didn't second guess, and she rose in purpose. Ladies, we have a purpose, and sometimes we feel like we held back because we second guess ourselves because we feel like, well, if we do this and someone's going to get offended, or maybe this person is not going to like that, or this and that. And I felt like that too by when I was starting the Brewing with Grace podcast. I was like, if I start this, ain't nobody going to listen. Ain't nobody going to care what I say. But you know what? Sometimes I feel like now, like if God gave you the vision, it's not going to boom right off. Sometimes you gotta just ease it up and let it go. And if God gave you a vision, it was a reason for him to give you that vision, because he wanted you to speak. And I want us ladies to know that no more being silent. It's time for us to be heard. It's time for our vision to go out. It's time for us to walk into our purpose boldly with confidence. The more you sit back and second guess yourself, the more you sit back in silence, honey, your voice will never be heard. So we've mastered how to be quiet, to be agreeable, and it feels safe. Like, let's just say somebody come to you and you're like, oh, I want to start this business, and they be like, you know what, you shouldn't start this business because such and such is the case. And you be like, you know what, yeah, you're right. But in all reality, honey, that's the work of the devil. Because stop second guessing yourself. You don't have to agree to everything. No, if God gave you that vision, he gave it to you for a reason. So, we know how to shrink. We know how to stay small. We know how to let others lead, even when God calls you to rise. Sometimes, Lord, I don't understand where you're taking me, Lord, but I want you to show me. I want you to guide me. How many of y'all have prayed that? And when it's time for the Lord to show you and he is guiding you, you back down. You stand still. You be silent, but no more. So I have some points that I want to point out to you. So point 1 is boldness will feel loud to the girl who learned to stay small. You weren't born shy. You weren't trained to be silent. You weren't born to hide. You were told you were too much. How many of y'all were told too much? Ain't nothing but the devil. Like I said before, silence may have been your survival, but boldness is your breakthrough. Okay? The second point that I have is boldness isn't about volume. It's about alignment. As you are healing and as you are on this Christian journey, I want everyone's prayer is to, Lord, help me to be aligned. I want to be aligned with you, Lord. I want to be aligned with Christ where he wants me to be. Deborah didn't just speak her mind. She spoke God's word. She was bold because she was in tune with God. Boldness is obedience when God says speak. So when the Lord go and tell you and give you that vision and say, hey, I want you to do something, boldness is obedient. By you being obedient to God, you are showing him boldness. You are saying, Lord, use me. And when he give it to you, you are doing it. Point 3 is your voice is somebody else's breakthrough. You may have someone that is silent. They is scared to speak. But when they see you speak, they see you walking into your purpose, not afraid, not ashamed of what people say. Because my thing is this here. If you don't use it, like the Bible said, the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He will try all he can in his might to destroy what the Lord has put down, what the Lord has given you. So it's time for you to get up. It's time for us to get up and walk boldly into our purpose. Walk boldly into our vision. And it's time for us to speak. And it's time for us to share our testimonies that, hey, you never know. You may have some other young lady or some little young girl that say, you know what? If she can do it, I know I can do it. Deborah called Barak into his assignment. And he said, I won't go unless you go with me. That means her presence, her voice, and her confidence gave him courage. You just don't know. By you being obedient and stepping and doing what the Lord and walking into your purpose, you are giving someone else probably that vision, that courage, and that motivation to go ahead and to start walking into their purpose. You know what I'm saying? So, sis, someone is waiting on the version of you that stops hiding and starts rising. This is your season to get rid of all doubts. This is your season to ride. You don't have to whisper anymore. You don't have to play small, and you don't have to be too loud. You're finally being heard. I don't know, my allergies is kicking up, but I remember when I wrote the book, my first book, I Am Chosen. I was scared to write that book. When I wrote it, and I was like, whew, okay, it's written. And then I found myself like, okay, Lord, I'm scared to get it published, because who's to say that somebody else is going to read it? Maybe somebody might not read it. They may not like the book. But I had a testimony in there that I wanted to get out, and I wrote it in a book. This here is a folder or a composition book. This is my second book that I have written. It's not published yet, but it's in the process of it being written. And I have a chapter in here that I want to read. This book is also it ties in with becoming her. So in chapter 9, I have a chapter that's called I Found My Voice Again. So I'm just going to read it. So the scripture, Psalms 107, says, let the redeemed of the Lord tell their story, those he redeemed from the hand of the foe. So there's a time when I forgot how to speak for myself. Not because I didn't have something to say, but because somewhere along the way, I believed that my voice didn't matter. I had been silenced by shame, suffocated by the fear of rejection, and weighed down by the lies that told me I wasn't worthy of being heard. But God has a way of stirring something in you, a holy fire, even in your quiet moments. Even in the dark, even your voice shakes. And that's what happened to me. I didn't just recover. I didn't just survive. I remembered. I remember who I was before the silence. I remember what I carried before the pain. I remember the girl with the dream, the purpose, the calling, buried beneath fear. And God, he never forgot. See, we may think that no one cares, that we're buried in fear, that we are afraid. But I just want you to know that don't be afraid. God knows everything. Even when I was silent, he was still speaking to me, whispering truth, breathing life, reminding me that my voice, the one that has been stifled by trauma and tucked away in pain, was created to declare freedom. When I was in Miami and I was homeless, was in an abusive relationship, and I had told God, if God, I promise you, if you take me out of this relationship, I will never go back in. And I didn't. Was it fear? I was afraid because I felt like, well, I knew he knew where I stayed. He knew my family. But I was like, Lord, you got to make it to where I don't see him again. I don't want nothing to do with him. So it was that trauma and that pain that caused me to just like, you know what, just sit back. Because at first, when I had explained it to my mama, I was scared to tell my mama at first that, hey, such and such is the case. This is what's going on. But I had to tell her, she's my mama, and she prayed and we prayed and stuff like that. And I just felt like certain things that happened in my life, there are someone that has been worse off than me, that had went through more than me. But I just felt like through the testimonies that I have, the things that I've been through, I know it can encourage someone to keep pushing, to encourage you to don't settle, to encourage you to let you know that you are made by God. You are wonderfully made. You are fearfully and beautiful. You were made by God. And it had got so bad until I was so depressed that I felt like I was ugly. And then you go out and you start looking for love in the wrong places. And that's what I did. Until God had to say, okay, Jamila, it's time for you to come back to me, because now you're forgetting who I am. You only call me when things are happening. Now oh Lord, but I need you to call me when things are going good. So I had to rededicate my life back to Christ, and I had to say, okay, Lord, I am here. Use me. I have a voice. Use me. Whatever you want me to do, I will do it. And I can tell you this, that I am in a new space. I am in a new era. I am still growing and I am still learning every day. But one of my purpose and one of my things that I love to do, y'all, I love to write. And I haven't even asked my mama this one yet, but I know in school I didn't like to write. I didn't. And I love to read. Now, I know for the reading part, my mom didn't play about us reading. When we came home from school, even if we say we had no homework, we still had to read for about 30 minutes to an hour. And we had to write down what we read. And you can't just sugarcoat anything, because my mama is very smart. She's very smart. She knows she's a reader too. I have aunties that's a reader as well. So I started finding myself writing, and I was writing into my journal. And then I say, Lord, you know what? I want to write a book. And he gave me the vision. So I had my first book. It's called I Am Chosen. It's on Amazon. And then I was sitting down last year, and I was like, you know what? It's time for me to write another book. So I've been writing. You can even ask my kids. And listen, if you see me, I have a tablet, I have pens, and I have highlighters, because I love to write. So I started on this new book. So I'm reading now a chapter that's in my book. Chapter 9 is stated. It's called I Find My Voice Again. So it's still saying, it started small, a whisper prayer, a journaling moment. That's what I went through. I started praying, and then all of a sudden I started writing, started journaling. A broken yes through tears. But each word I released was a seed watering my purpose. Reviving the woman I was always meant to become. I learned that finding your voice again doesn't mean shouting from the rooftops. Sometimes it just means choosing to speak up for yourself when it would be easier to stay silent. It's standing in your truth even when others are uncomfortable with it. It's saying I am worthy without needing permission to believe it. It's telling your story and knowing that if it helps one woman, that it is worth it. I want you to know that your voice matters, your truth matters, and you matter. That's my thing, my motto that I tell myself every day when I wake up. I am worthy and I matter. Even if your life tried to mute you, God is still amplifying the sound of your healing. You are no longer the woman who holds everything in. You are her. Healed, whole, and unafraid to speak. Let the world hear you. Let your story be seen. Let your purpose speak louder than your past. Ladies, I want you to know that you didn't lose your voice. It was waiting for you to remember how powerful it was. So my book is not out yet. I haven't published yet. The title of the book is Tears That Watered My Purpose. That's the name of my book, my next book that I will be publishing soon, and it will be on Amazon. And I'm so excited. Like I said, this book here, the topic, what made me think about the topic about how our voice is. I don't want you to be silent no more. I want your voice to be bold, and I want you to feel bold. I want you to feel with that confidence, with that courage. And I want you to know in your heart that if it's for you, it's for you. If God gave it to you, he gave it to you for a reason. Your purpose, your vision is yours for a reason, especially if it came from God. Man can't give you what God can. He can. I don't care if he say, oh, I give him $1 million for this. He still cannot give you what God can. So I want to leave to you with you today is stop hiding. Don't be silent anymore. Deborah spoke, and she spoke loud. She spoke with courage, and she led. God through her, God went through her, and he led, and she led. You can be a leader too. Stop being silent. Don't second guess yourself. Use your voice. Align your voice with God. He will make that way. You matter. Your voice matters. Your truth matters. Your story matters. Your testimony matters. Your purpose matters. And your voice matters. It's time for us to walk boldly, not in silence. Speak with courage because we matter. Let our boldness align with God. Our boldness is obedient. Let's be obedient with God. So whatever you have in your heart and mind desire to do that God has given you, honey, take that piece of paper out and that pencil, write it down and get to work. You want to teach, you want to preach, you want to be a motivational speaker, let your testimony shine, sweetheart, and speak. We will no longer let anyone be in silence with us. We will no longer be in silence. No longer in silence. Okay? Our voices are loud. We are bold. Deborah did it, and so can we. So I just wanted to come and say hello, check on you all, but also let you know it's time for us to stop being in silence. Don't be shy. Wake up. It's time for our boldness to feel loud, to look loud, like Deborah did. Boldness is obedience when God says speak, so it's time to speak. Y'all have a blessed day, and I love you.